Hello everyone, my name is Pranita. I am from TYBSc Zoology. Today I will be talking about a neurodegenerative disorder named as Huntington disease. So, Huntington disease is characterized by uncontrolled and uncoordinated dancing like movements, which is known as chorea. The man given in this picture shows choreac movements. Huntington disease affects functional abilities, movement and motor control, cognitive and psychiatric problems. In this image, left side there is a normal healthy brain and on the right side there is Huntington diseased brain. In the Huntington diseased brain, certain area is degenerated. There is degeneration of specific type of neuron in brain region known as striatum, which controls motor activities, and that explains why there is uncoordinated jerk-like movements. Huntington disease is incurable hereditary brain disorder that results in the progressive degeneration of the brain cell. The disorder has great impact on person's functional abilities and may affect movement, behavior and cognition. Huntington's affect about 4 to 15 in 1 lakh people, and most people develop symptoms in their 30s or 40s. Although the disease can emerge earlier or later in life, the time of disease emergence until death is about 10 to 30 years. In juvenile Huntington disease, symptoms start before the age of 20. This accounts for 10% of Huntington disease cases. Complications are usually fatal and may include pneumonia, heart disease, and injuries related to falling. The depression associated with Huntington disease may increase the risk of suicide. As the condition progresses, a person with disorder may need help with all activities of daily living and care. At the late stage of disease, the sufferer may be confined to bed and may be unable to speak. Some of the common signs and symptoms involve increased involuntary movements, severe depression, fever, falling, weakness, speech issues, and difficulty in swallowing and chewing, etc. Let us see the diagnosis. Anyone with the family history of the disease can ask a doctor about genetic testing to determine whether they carry the gene mutation. Doctors sometimes recommend imaging tests such as CT or MRI scan to identify changes in the brain structure. Because the condition follows an autosomal pattern of inheritance, a blood test may be carried out to count the number of CAG repeats in Huntington alleles. Treatment. Huntington's disease is currently incurable. Treatment cannot reverse its progression or slow it down. However, medication and other therapies can help manage some symptoms. Medication. Currently, the Food and Drug Administration has approved tetrabenazine medication specifically to treat Huntington's symptoms. Tetrabenazine treats the jerky, involuntary movements or chorea that occur with Huntington's disease. Side effects include depression and suicidal thoughts or actions. Now let us see the mechanism of the disease. Initially, the damage to the brain is regionally specific with dorsal striatum in the subcortical basal ganglia being primarily affected. This basal ganglia controls and inhibits unwanted and uncoordinated movements that pretty much explains why there is jerky or choreac movements in Huntington disease. The basal ganglia has specific type of neuron which are inhibitory in nature known as striatal medium spiny neurons. These neurons are degenerated that results in uncoordinated search of movements which leads to chorea. This disorder is caused by mutation in either of an individual's 2 copies of genes called Huntington, inherited in an autosomal dominant pattern. The normal gene has 3 DNA bases composed of sequences CAG, that is cytosine, adenine and guanine. In people with the disorder, the DNA sequence itself several times leads to an excessive production of CAG. This change results in large form of Huntington and is toxic as it accumulates and damages the cells in the brain. The CAG repeat is present in the first exon of the Huntington gene located on chromosome number 4. The Huntington gene spans over 200 kb and is composed of 67 exons that encode a protein of approximately 3145 amino acids. The range of CAG repeat size in normal individual is 6 to 34. In affected individual, this repeat number becomes 36 to 120. The longer the length of CAG repeats, the earlier is the onset of the symptoms. All humans have two copies of Huntington gene, that is HTT, which codes for protein Huntingtin, also called as Huntington disease gene. Part of this gene is repeated section called trinucleotide repeat. Mutation can increase the repeat count and that can result in defective gene. This mutated gene will cause the production of mutated protein, that is mutant Huntington protein MHTT. This mutated protein promotes the destruction of the neurons. As we have seen, now Huntington disease have a major impact at professional, social and family level of patients and can lead to a complete inability to carry out any type of everyday activity. The major problem is that these disorders are normally detected late and results in restricting the efficiency of treatment options. Therefore, it is essential to support scientific research in this area to accelerate the discovery of the causes and mechanisms of neurodegenerative diseases and develop preventive treatments better suited to symptoms of each disease. Thank you.